Okay. And I hope your friends know it's in the EST time zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see one joining already.
I only admitted her. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So in the interest of time, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Holistic Health Alliance Community Talk, which we hold every month. To begin with, I'm going to introduce the organization, very briefly, our goals, mission, vision, what do we do here? And then I'm going to introduce our speaker for today, Anjana Nambissan, right?
Yes.
Anjana, did I get that pronunciation right?
Good.
Thank you. So we'll just wait for another couple minutes, just allow everybody to kind of drop in, whoever has registered. But feel free to have a conversation if you recognize any of your friends here. All attendees, feel free to be on video, audio right now. This is kind of a hello, meet and greet, couple minutes. Are all your friends from Arizona or some other states as well?
Some other states too.
Hello.
Hi, Swati. Hi, Pritichi. Hi, Sumi. Thank you all for joining.
All right.
Hello, Anjana.
Hey, Sumi. Thanks for joining, Sumi.
Good luck with the
Thank
presentation today.
you. Thank you.
Hi, Anjana.
Hey, Pritichi.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I think we'll get started. So I'm going to begin by giving a little bit of a background to the organization Wholistic Health Alliance, which is hosting today's community talk. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are nationally launched. Right now, we have 2 state chapters, one in Massachusetts and one in Colorado. And our tagline says, building healthy communities. So Wholistic Health Alliance is an organization that is dedicated to this tagline. This is basically our stated goal is to build healthy communities. And the first task in building healthy communities is to educate the community on what are your options out there, in addition to, everybody thinks about doctor and doctor visit and pills when any health issue comes up. But our goal is to educate the community about what else can they do aside from popping pills, drugs, chemicals in their body. So this is the kind of a very broad mission statement for the organization. I am myself an Ayurvedic doctor. I have an MD in Ayurveda, and I founded Wholistic Health Alliance many years ago, but I incorporated it in 2015. So we are a fully registered IRS tax-exempt nonprofit. If anyone who's listening in is a holistic practitioner, please do consider joining us as practitioner member. Anjana is also one of our practitioner member, and this is something you can see. If any of these questions apply to you, then please do consider joining. Right now, we are not limited to any state. Actually, we were not previously as well, but previously the state chapters were taking care of their local membership. But right now, COVID has, expanded us, our connections in some ways. So anybody is free to join. It does not matter what state you are in. You will be showcased on our directory, and every month I feature a practitioner. So many benefits you can look up online, and this is how our website looks like. And Anjana is featured for this month. And now I'm going to read her short bio. Anjana is a certified life coach from Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. Life coaching is an amazing way to find your truth from deep within. We all tend to believe that our life and situations are real and they define us. The truth is, we define our lives with our thoughts and beliefs. Such a powerful statement right there. If you would like to change any area of your life, watch and change your thoughts. Working with a life coach will help you explore your truth and make changes in your thoughts and actions. A very powerful way to change your life around. So that's fantastic. Those are fantastic thoughts and words, Anjana. I think everybody needs a life coach in their life. So with that, I welcome you and over to you. I'm making you co-host right now. Feel free to start sharing your screen when you're ready.
Sure.
All the best.
Thank you so much, Pratibha. That was a beautiful introduction. I really appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This is so wonderful to have you all here to learn about life coaching. And this is really like such an amazing, powerful way to transform our life. So I'm so happy you all could make it. So to give like a small introduction about myself, I'm Anjana, and I'm like a certified life coach. So the reason like I was introduced to life coaching is like a few years back, I was having like really bad time, like in all areas of my life. Like, so I just couldn't get to like where I want to, or I knew like that was not the life I was meant to live. And I was feeling miserable like most of the time. So one of my really sweet friend introduced me to like a life coach. So at that time, I had no clue what life coaching was. So, and like having like several sessions with my life coach, he was able to like walk me through and show the light actually to see what is possible and what is deep within my mind. And she was able to like just pull me out of like whatever I was going through. Like, I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. And that is the reason I ended up believing that I have to be a life coach. So I ended up taking the training and certification, and I'm here to serve you all. Let me share my screen.
Aparna, do you have a question? I think we'll take questions in the end if it is okay.
No, I was just applauding her.
Okay.
Thank you, Aparna. That's sweet. All right. Okay. So let's begin the discussion with what is life coaching. So life coaching is like a very powerful way of transforming your life. And that is done not by superficially just like changing some actions. Instead, we go deep into our thoughts and beliefs and change those. So what it is not. So that is also like very important to understand. This is not like a counseling session or like a therapy. Life coaching is like purely based on what your truth is, what you have like deep inside your mind, what your beliefs are, and what is holding you back from your ideal or your perfect life. What is holding you back? So finding those questions from within, and whatever beliefs need to be changed, we can change through life coaching. So this is not about like any suggestions or advice from me as a coach to you. Instead, it's just like finding your own truth, your own answers from within. So who can benefit from life coaching? So anybody who believes that, okay, the way I'm living my life right now, it's not how it should be. I know there is something like really good out there, or I know like I deserve like better health, or I know like my relationship with my spouse or my family or my friends, I know this is like can be like really beautiful and not like however it is right now. So when we have that feeling and we are not in a place to say like, oh, I'm not liking how it is, but I'm comfortable with the familiarity of whatever it is. That is not the place for life coaching. Life coaching is when you realize whatever is happening is not the way it should be, and you are willing and ready to make the step, the courageous step to go forward and make the changes. So when you are willing to do that change, when you are willing to see what is happening in your mind, that is when life coaching comes into picture, and we can like do like very, very powerful transformations. So just to give you like how a life coaching will work. So initially we will have like a discovery session, and discovery session is like a very short call between the client and the coach. And we can understand like what are the possibilities, what is your background, what is your story, what area of your life are you struggling, and you will have like a vision of yourself, like where you would like to be, what kind of a life you are envisioning for yourself. So understanding that, me as a coach, I will be able to analyze, okay, for these kinds of struggles, I will be able to support, I will be able to guide this person through. So that is the discovery session. And there is also like a very powerful way of like building trust, because life coaching is not like just a casual chat. It can be like very intense, very intimate, and it can open up to like all areas of your mind. So whatever things that you like or not like about yourself, all those can come out. So it's pretty good, like really good, but intense at the same time. So as a coach and the client, we need to have like a very good comfort level and like a rapport and a trust that is needed to start that life coaching. And once that discovery session is done and we both are comfortable going forward, then we can have like scheduled sessions, like 60 to 90 minute sessions. And each coaching session, we can find out what is your intention in this session, what outcome are you looking for? And from that intention onwards, we can take forward and look at your beliefs, look at your thoughts, and what are the patterns that you're repeating in your life. And from there, we can see how to redesign or rewrite your thoughts. And there are like so many different tools out there. Like within coaching itself, we can use so many different tools. So going to the next one. This is like one of the example tools that we can use in life coaching. This is like wheel of balance. What this does is when we don't know where to start. So life coaching can be like all over, like all areas of your life can be transformed using life coaching. So using a wheel of balance, like this kind of a tool, we can identify which part of the area, which part of life do you want to change or start working on first. So are you happy the way it is right now, or you want to like improve, or you have like a vision how it should be and how it is right now is not matching. There is some gap. So this is like one example tool. So for example, if you take like money, for example, so things will be like, if you choose money, you can be like, okay, I'm not making as much money as I should be to like meet my needs or to live that kind of life I want. So we will go step by step into what kind of beliefs do you have around money? Do you believe like you can have enough? Or did you grow up believing that you cannot have enough at all? It can actually lead back to the kind of like situations or circumstances we grew up with, or whatever beliefs that got into us. And another example can be like a relationship, for example. A person can like keep on complaining or like cry about like miserable relationship they're having, like family relationship or with spouse. So the question to start asking is, what kind of a relationship do you think you are worthy of? Or where to go from there? It's like, okay, if you believe like everybody in your life is causing you pain, so if that is the deep belief in you, there is no way you can have a happy life, right? So in that situation, the life coaching comes into picture and takes you through like each and every belief that you are having around relationship. And that can be like intense because it might take you to like very old beliefs or old situations where somebody behaved you in a certain way. So whether you like it or not, you take that experience and you translate that into like however story that you wanted to create. And that story is playing in your mind, whether you know it or not, that story is playing in your back of your mind all the time. So even when you try to move from one relationship to another relationship, that story doesn't change. As long as the story doesn't change, the patterns don't change. It keeps on repeating. So that is when we have to like identify the different kinds of thoughts and beliefs that are causing it. What kinds of stories you are telling. So those were just two examples. I hope you are getting some idea what life coaching is about. And this inner dialogues, this is again like a continuation of what I was saying before. What are inner dialogues? So I want to go out in like a meeting and talk about something. And I'm like super duper nervous about it. What do I do? So the question comes like, okay, what are you scared of? What kinds of fears are stopping you from doing this? So I might mess up. So what will happen if you mess up? So those are like the questions to dig deeper into your beliefs and thoughts like that. So I'm scared that I might mess up. So when I mess up, somebody may not like me, or what will happen if somebody doesn't like you? So I will feel alone, lonely. So you know where I'm going with this. So it just takes you deeper into your own insecurities and your fears. And that is how we go to the deepest root of all these things, and we can change from there. And the powerful thing is the moment you realize that it's your thoughts that is causing your life to be the way it is, then you have the power to change it. So we keep on thinking, oh, somebody is behaving to me like this, or my situations are like that. So instead of like complaining on the situations, complaining on the other people in our life, the moment we realize those situations are not causing my pain, it is my own thoughts, my own inner dialogues. That is when we get the power to change them. So just to give an example of like how the stories are made, I see like my friend in like a shopping mall. So she is like doing some stuff and I just call her and she doesn't see me. She just walks away, for example, right? So I can create different stories around it. So one possible story can be, oh, she doesn't like me anymore, or she's so mad, or nobody likes me, or think like blah, blahs, you know. So things like that, we are the ones creating the stories. So the reality is just one. That reality doesn't mean anything to me until and unless I create a story around it. So another way of creating story around that situation is, oh, looks like she's pretty busy. I can catch up with her another time. So in that place, in that kind of a story, I don't create a pain or I don't create a resentment. I create like compassion and love towards that person. So that is like the different ways of like creating stories. So how does like life coaching help you find the stories? So about like for confidence, for example, if I am not feeling confident in doing something, when a life coach talks to me, there can be like backstories, like from the time I was like 10 or 15 or somewhere like that, somebody told me something. So whatever they told me can be dependent on their mental state at that moment. They may be frustrated, they may be stressed out, but how I interpreted that within me. So that interpretation stays with my mind forever. That is when like the life coaching like dig deeper and takes me to that older place to that older situation and find out what happened. What was the dialogue? What did you tell yourself then? So in that situation, how will you, if given a chance again, how will you rewrite that? Or how will you say that again now in this moment? So given that situation, it's like a very powerful way of like, instead of, oh, I was not good at anything, to, oh, you know what? I was actually good. And I have done tons of things to prove myself that I'm good enough. But that story was causing me to like not believe in myself. So going back to that story, rewriting that, then you will see how profound of a difference you made in your life. And the question is like, are you living life per your own terms or other people's expectations? We all know, like growing up, like we had like our parents' expectations or how the society thinks about us. So those were all like forming our reality or how our life should be. So nobody ever cared to ask us like, how do you feel about it? How do you think? Is this what you really want to do? Or is this how your life should be? Nobody cared to ask us, right? In most of our situations. So we ended up growing up to be like people like, okay, somebody wanted to me like that. Somebody like, this is how I'm expected to live. Rather than, okay, this is the way I want to live. So that I realized that when I was going through my life coaching, I didn't even know like how my life should be. I didn't even know like what to expect, what makes me happy. None of those things. It ever mattered to me because I was always living life for someone else. So with life coaching, we get the power back that you are the creator of your life. How you think about yourself, how you believe about yourself, create the life that you want. Instead of like someone else's life, and we are like so stressed about like, okay, me pleasing them or things like that. So this is giving us our power back and realizing we can make our choices, and from our thought, changing our thoughts and beliefs, we can live a life of our dreams. And no dream is too big to achieve. We are all so powerful beings. Our mind is like the most powerful thing in the world. It can create anything. You just have to believe in that. So getting you to believe in yourself, I can help you as a life coach. So with that, I'm done with my content for today. I can open it up for Q&A.
Thank you, Anjana. That was simple but very impactful. And I hope it has initiated some self-reflection in everyone as to how our own thoughts can be the barriers in becoming who we want to be oftentimes. So if you like, you can stop sharing so that, you will be able to see everyone. And at this time, I'm going to request everyone, if you want to come on video, unmute, comment, ask questions to Anjana.
Hey, this is Preeti. Hi, Anjana.
Hi, Preeti.
Thanks for sharing. Lovely presentation. So there was something that I wanted to pick your brain on. You had a third point there that said, do you live life by yourself or by other people's expectations, right?
Yes.
But we live in a very, a world which is very connected. We have our own family, husband, kids, parents. And a lot of times I feel that we are somehow doing things to fulfill someone else's expectations. Given the chance, I would do something otherwise, but I'm not doing it. So at that times, how do you untangle yourself out of that and truly, kind of not do things to satisfy someone else's expectations?
So that's a great question, Priti. Thank you for asking that. So that is when like life coaching can come in and ask you questions like, okay, so your family expects you to do certain way, right? And if you don't do that, if you do it like in a different way, what would happen? What will really happen if you do something that is against your family's expectations? Will that make you feel you alone, or will the family leave you altogether just by doing one thing? Or what is that fear that stops you from doing that? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So from that, and as a matter of fact, just us becoming authentic self doesn't throw us out of our family or doesn't make us like alone and lonely without any friends. That is the honest fact. We are all scared that just by being authentic, people will like start hating us or things like that. But the reality is the other people's expectations are not real, as a matter of fact. It's all like we create it, like we create situations and circumstances and we invite them into our life because that is the way we believe our life should be.
This makes sense.
Does
It
that
really
make
makes
sense? Yeah.
Yeah, to step back and evaluate is what you're saying, right?
Yes. Just to take a step back, pause for a second, and ask yourself, what will really happen if you don't do that? And in most cases, like to give an example, right? I never knew I had this need within me to have like an authority figure in my life. That was like not something I ever knew that was there. But I kept on having like when I was a kid, like of course my parents. Then when I got married, my husband, I was thinking like those are my authority figures, and I wanted to like obey everything they want or try to like keep on pleasing them with whatever, right? The reality is we just cannot please anybody. That is the truth. Because each and every one of us have like our own way of life, likes and dislikes and our own thing. And we all like have like different perspectives. But the moment you become like, you understand that is in your own mind, that is all these things, and you start like untangling that, you will realize the people in your life like accept and approve you more of that. So it's not really like other people liking or disliking. That is just a misunderstanding about it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks.
Okay.
I totally agree with that statement. I mean, I'm like a proof of that example. I was like you, where I would listen to my husband and everything, would have to be done in a certain way. There came a time in my life when I started finding myself. And when I started changing, there was a period when people couldn't accept because they were so used to seeing me the old way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I kept moving. I think the most important thing is that you need to kind of pursue that, right? Don't give up, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at one point now everybody's fine with whatever I do, so I'm like, cool. So I really love that point you made. Anjana.
Yeah. And talking about that, self-love is like the most powerful thing. So if we start loving ourselves the way we are doing the things that we like, it doesn't matter like about other people at all. Other people just like automatically see the glow in us, see like how much we love ourselves. They just don't have a choice but to start loving us. Like the authentic self. That's the truth, really.
Absolutely, absolutely right. And I think definitely taking the time to understand what is very important to you. And sometimes I feel it's not out there, like you yourself don't realize it until you kind of think about it, right? That this is important to my, core self, and need to protect that. Yeah, thanks, Anjana.
Sure, Preeti.
I'll just add to that also having confidence in what you are seeing as your true self. And being yourself doesn't mean that you're being selfish. There is a guilt associated by being what you want to be always
Mhm.
for women. That's a very common issue. And that is one thing I just wanted to just comment on, that there should not be any guilt associated with it. And of course, needless to say, we are not talking about being bad and wanting to be bad, or wanting to be not responsible in whatever position you're in. But minimum, those things are there. I mean, if you're a parent, I won't even say mother, but if you're a parent, obviously there are certain responsibilities that come with it. But we don't have to forget ourselves. That's very important. The self-love part, I was giving a talk for medical doctors yesterday for weight loss. I was invited on a platform, and I spun the whole thing on its head, and I talked about self-love a lot yesterday. Because once you have self-love, so it's not a fight. I think the point I wanted to add on to what Anjana was saying is that it's not a battle. Even in the family, it's not about a battle. Be gentle and start being yourself. And I think all women should remember that empty jugs cannot supply anything. So fill yourself. Only then you will also be able to be having a fulfilling relationship with everybody around you and yourself.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts?
Something in the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Aparna, that's a great question. Yes. If a life coach is a friend, how does the confidentiality work? So the thing is, as a life coach, we take the oath or pledge to keep everything confidential. We are never allowed to share anything. So that is like when we have the discovery call, that is one thing we will explain. Everything that we discuss will be just between the two of us, and nothing will go out, definitely. And it's also like a non-judgmental place. So it's a very, very safe place for you to open up. And life coaching sessions are not always like very easy or just fun. It can be like pretty intense, like I said. You can see yourself in a very vulnerable situation. I have cried a lot with my life coach, really. So we have like tearful conversations. We can have tearful conversations, and the insecurities and vulnerables. And we have this concept of judging everything as good or bad. So if we find something that we believe or we do as not so good, we end up thinking, oh, that is so bad, like I cannot share or I cannot open up. And we put like a big barrier in front of that. But if we don't break that barrier and go deeper, we don't even find the actual truth within you, right? So rest assured, it is confidential. Each and every single life coaching session is confidential. And it's a safe place with no judgments at all. Thank you for that.
Anjana, there's another question there. There's a part one to the question. How can you, practice self-love without hurting anybody?
Oh, I did not say that. Okay. So practicing self-love, that is like we do that as a step-by-step process. We don't start realizing that on day one, because when we start digging deeper into our minds, we see like parts of us which we don't like, right? We may not like some parts of us. We may not be like really proud of something that we have done before. So in those situations, we have to first accept that, yes, I have done something like that, or I have thoughts like that. But when you have that thought, as long like the moment you accept that this is my thought or this is my action, you have the choice to like accept it and embrace that as like part of yourself. So we all have like great parts of ourselves and not so great parts about ourselves, right? So once we realize like all the different parts, all the different characteristics I have, like some of them are not that great. So when we see all of that, we embrace them all, then we start loving myself as like a whole. So that is like a process. It's not happened on like one day. it takes time. It takes like several sessions and like a lot of self-work too. So something that I was doing was I started writing journal. Like every day I was writing journals with all the experiences that I had for that particular day. Like how did that experience go and what all feelings I created around that. So things like that, I started journaling. So it's getting to know me as a person. I don't think like most of us know us as like a being, like as an amazing, powerful being that we are. We just know or we see us in the eyes or in from the lens of other people. So someone else tells me as like, okay, this developer or whatever. So I only see myself as that instead of this beautiful divine being that I am with like so much power, so much love and compassion. I don't get to know that side of me. So self-love comes from understanding me as a person. So like multiple life coaching sessions take you deeper into knowing yourself and knowing like all areas of you. Then you can like choose, okay, there are like certain areas of my life this way and that way. And this is what I want to encourage myself to promote or bring out to the world. And the best side of you can bring it out. And self-love, specifically to do certain things, you can make sure like when you feel like really stressed out or when you feel overwhelmed, give yourself permission to take some time out of like all the business of life. Just maybe 15-20 minutes, maybe listen to like some of your favorite songs. So if that can calm you down, or sit with yourself with just a journal and ask like the questions like, okay, what am I upset about? What kinds of thoughts are going on in my mind right now? Things like that. And if self-love means like, okay, if someone else loves you so much, how will you understand that that person loves you? There may be like certain languages that we all understand love, right? So we can do whatever that person does and we feel love, that we can do that to ourselves. If it is like going out with a friend for coffee or just like relaxing in our bathtub or just doing a yoga session, whatever that means to you, love means to you, you can do that. So but this is not like a one-day thing. This has to be like an everyday regular practice. And over time, we develop that self-love. And we will start seeing, like when we start loving ourselves, we see everything differently.
Can I add a little bit to that?
So, yeah, I was just reading another message too. Go ahead, Kirtan.
Sure. I just, just quickly, because I think Aparna also, I think she was asking about how we can practice or bring up self-love without hurting someone else's expectations from us. I think that's something that most of the women face, because we are taught to perform or function in a certain way, which is more taking care of the likes and dislikes of everybody else, but not yourself. So that's a conditioning of the mind. So, when you want to start doing differently, there is always this question, am I being a bad person, because good women don't do this, So that question can come especially for women because of, a lot because of the conditioning of the mind. So I think the most important thing to bear in mind here is that anything that is being changed does take some getting used to. So first of all, that used to has to start within us, and we have to be clear and comfortable that, this is something that is something that you deserve as a human being, any other human being, as a member of the family. So something like, sitting down and gently breaking to the family that I am going to start taking some me time off every day from 6 to 7 p.m. or 3 to 4 p.m., I am going to request everyone not to disturb me, and I will be working on my own self-growth and self-healing and other good things in this time. And in that, you can watch a cute animal video or some stand-up comedy, or you can do some painting, poetry, or just sleep. So it's a process, as Anjana rightly said, but somehow equating self-love with hurting someone is not probably the right direction to go in, because that's not how it will work. Your self-love is not necessarily equal to hurting someone. So that's something, because of our conditioning, we hesitate to go that way.
Yes. We just believe that it's not always true.
Yes.
And
it's never true, actually. It's never true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the obligations just come in place, right? Like, are we obligated to not do this, or are we obligated to do certain ways?
$1 million
But
point.
that again, yes, that again comes back to like what you believe, Aparna. So it's not like someone else is not enforcing that on you. If we think about it, there are no feelings or no thoughts in our head that are created by someone else. We create those, right? So if we think we are hurting others, it's our thought. It doesn't mean that's a reality. So something we can do about that is we can be honest and authentic to ourselves. Okay, this is the time I would really like to just like take it easy, stay calm, do my own things. And as long as you have that clarity and you understand and you believe it's not really about like hurting others, you can communicate that easily to others. You know what? I know you invited me for that event, but I'm sorry, I would like to take that day off or take it easy. I'm pretty sure when we come from an authentic self, like people understand, like they don't question. When we don't have those kinds of like doubts within ourselves, people get it. People really get it. It's our thoughts that matters.
Sometimes it can be true. I think I understand what Aparna is saying, that, the obligations, especially within the family, sometimes, and I'm not saying it's applicable to everybody, but, there are other members of the family that expect you to behave a certain way. And you have been conditioned to think that you should behave in that way. So, this can be a very natural thought that comes, which is not imagined, it's real. But I think, Aparna, the most important point is that if you can give yourself the dignity of being a whole, beautiful soul human being, it's about you giving yourself that permission, that dignity. And once you feel confident and clear about giving yourself that dignity, I think you will be able to stand for yourself without being confrontational necessarily. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes that is also required, because sometimes things are so hard. Because in my practice as a clinician, I see a lot of women clients who have real scenarios. It's not something they're imagining. It's something they have tried, but they have had a lot of pushback because it's not convenient. Having a woman in the house who is thinking for herself, So certainly they can be real. Yeah, certainly they can be real barriers, but I think it's about also giving yourself that dignity, that you're also a whole human being and you deserve every bit of everything that everybody else deserves. I hope that helped.
Thank you. Yes.
That's great. And there is one more thing I would like to add. When we start changing our beliefs, our situations actually start changing, believe it or not, which is really true. I have experienced that firsthand myself. Like, oh, my colleagues are like so hard to work with, or my husband is so hard to live with. So those kinds of things, like when slowly and gradually, when the self-love comes into picture and when that becomes a reality, right? all those situations changes. Like I did not think that was possible before, but from my own experience, I realized like people who like hurt us like really bad from somewhere, like they just either just go away from our life completely, or their thoughts about us start changing. They start appreciating and respecting us for the new person that we are becoming. So just my 2 cents on that.
Thanks,
Swati, I
Anjana.
see. Sure.
Any other questions for Belka?
Yeah, I see like one question from Swati. I'm a self-loving person by birth, but people around me says I'm self-obsessed, but I don't think so. How can we understand and distinguish the fine line between self-love and self-obsession? Wow, that's pretty good one. So again, why do you think so? It's in your thought again, like that you are self-obsessed? Why do you have to care about like what other people think? So other people thinking about you a certain way, how does that matter to you? Does that take away something from you? Or are you scared that you will lose something by someone else thinking that way? Or someone even like coming and telling you that you are self-obsessed? Does that bother you? How does that bother you? So things like that, we can go deeper. It might lead you to like some questions, or am I doing it right? Or am I worthy? Or some deeper questions like that. It can lead you to that. So, I don't think you're self-obsessed, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Anjana.
Sure. Any more questions?
Okay.
Actually, I had one more. You guys have the time.
Sure.
You talked about judging, right? How do you handle better someone judging you, and how do you handle yourself not judging anyone? Like we're kind of conditioned with so many biases and so many thoughts that we have from birth, right? And sometimes I have to really step back and say, this what I did right now is judgment. I passed a mental judgment on someone. So do you have any tools and tricks for both? How do you handle someone else judging you, and how do you get better at not judging someone?
Okay, so 2 parts of it, right, Priti? Thank you for that question. So someone else judging me. So that comes into picture only if I give any meaning to that. So as long as like someone else thinking or giving me a judgment or saying like, oh, you are good for nothing, doesn't mean anything to me until and unless I make the translation in my mind. I create some meaning to that. So it can be like, you can think about that in different way too, right? So someone else is judging me, maybe because they are having a bad day, or maybe they are feeling insecure about themselves. So if you have like a small gap between what is happening outside versus what is happening in your mind, there lies the power. Actually, you can, we sometimes see like people judging or like trying to put ourselves down at work or something, but their action versus our meaning, it has a distance between those two. And there lies your choice too. The moment you understand, okay, this happened, and this is what I started telling myself, you can just pause for a second and say, okay, I can do differently, right? I can give like a different meaning to that. You know what I mean? Did that make sense?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I was just listening.
Yeah. And the other part of it, like us judging someone else, that I don't think like that goes away just like that. Like on a daily basis, like I catch myself judging others in my life. So like the only difference is like a few years back, before all the life coaching sessions and all that, I would just keep on going on and on and on about judging others and creating that anger within me, anger and resentment, and I don't even want to look at them anymore. That kind of a feeling. I used to create those. But now I am able to see, how would I say that? I am able to see and catch myself when I'm creating thoughts like that. So instead of me thinking and going inside that loop of thoughts, oh, why that person is doing this, instead I'm like, oh, I see myself being judgmental about that person or their action. Do I want to continue that? I have that choice then.
True.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of choice and catching ourselves in our thoughts. So that is one thing that life coaching did to me, which I did not recognize for a long time. I'm able to watch my thoughts. I understand what my mind is telling me. So if we are able to catch our thoughts, right, that very moment we have that power. Like, because we were conditioned to think this way. We were conditioned to behave a certain way or create some thoughts in our mind certain way. But if we are able to see that, catch it at the moment, we have the power, right, to change it. We control our mind. Even though
Absolutely.
it seems other way, it seems otherwise. But yeah, through like life coaching and taking a pause from like all the busyness, and I do like meditations too, like every day, that actually calms me down. So instead of like 1,000 people talking in my head, if I do like a few minutes of like deep breath and like meditation or something, it calms my mind down. Then I'm able to distinguish the different conversations. There will be like a critic, there will be like somebody crying inside me, listening to the critic. All those like dramas are going on in my mind.
Okay. And the meditations really is wherever you are, just deep breaths, or do you actually take, because different people do meditations different ways.
Yeah. But we don't have to complicate meditation like that at all, because it's as simple as just taking like a few deep breaths and just like focusing on the breath, nothing else. That's all we need, because like the breath can control our mind.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anjana.
Sure, Jyoti. Thank you.
Thanks, Mridula. I think Mridula is dropping off.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So we are almost at the end. I would like to thank everyone. Wonderful, perspective development, and nothing happens overnight. We have to. It's all a process of evolution, and the society these days is certainly very stressed out. Very, everybody needs a lot of healing. So, sometimes all of this judgment and all that is happening is a method of self-coping for those people, because people are so drained and empty that they use negative methods to pep themselves up, which is like, passing remarks and being judgmental. So it's also recognizing that it's a very stressed out society around us, and it's not about us. It's not about you when it is happening. It's their coping mechanism. And that's what we succumb to quite often, right? As a coping mechanism. So it's helpful to recognize that.
Yeah. Love is the best medicine for all diseases.
Yes. Yes.
So that's it.
Very true. And it starts with self-love. Please remember that. You can only give what you have. So first give it to yourself and let that plant grow of love. Okay, so thank you all so much. Any final thoughts, Anjana? Otherwise, we can wind up.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining and giving me this opportunity to talk about like life coaching, because I know myself that it's like such a powerful tool to do and like transform our life, like just unbelievable changes. So I'm so glad all of you joined, and yeah, please let me know if I can serve powerfully any of you anytime.
Very nice. Priya has mentioned, you are the most powerful tool you have. That's very well said. Very well said. Very well said. So once again, I just want to quickly show to all of you. Give me just 1 second. So this is for any holistic practitioners. If you have a friend, let them know. And Anjana has this flyer. If she doesn't, I'll be sending her this. But she has joined, and I'll show you our website one more time so that you can become familiar with it. Feel free to share the website, check us out. We also have a youth brigade, and youth brigade is doing wonderful work. You can see the youth brigade. And this is the homepage of the website. So Wholistic Health Alliance with a W. Feel free to check us out. I mean, this is all voluntary work. The whole entire goal is to, like just this session, I'm sure you are walking away with some takeaways which are going to help you think maybe slightly differently from tomorrow. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you, Anjana, for coming on the platform and sharing these very basic tools of life itself. Very, very important. We don't think about them. So with that, thank you so much. And we'll hopefully see you in our next talks. We are on Facebook, Instagram. So do check us out, like, follow, etc. All the good stuff. And on YouTube now recently. So Anjana's talk will be going on YouTube as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay safe, stay well. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.